had the opportunity of driving the Jaguar XE 2.0D in diesel and the 3.0 Supercharged V6 S model. Both cars have a lot of get up and go. It's shocking that the 2.0D, the diesel version of this car, is rated at 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.9 seconds because it does not feel like it at all. It feels way quicker because you do have a fair amount of torque. Almost equal amounts of torque in this car as you have in the diesel version. And both had all-wheel drive, which is great because it's the middle of winter and it's freezing cold and there's lots of snow around. All-wheel drive is essential and works really well in both cars. What the diesel lacks compared to this, the supercharged version, is horsepower. It is down significantly from this car. Also, it's a 4-cylinder and it's only a 2-liter, so it's very tiny. But as I said, it almost has the same amount of torque, and that really does give the diesel version of this XE a lot of get up and go. But there's nothing like a supercharged V6, and this 3-liter supercharged V6 is from the F-Type Jag. It shares great DNA with one of the coolest Jags that's currently available. This one is really fun to drive. It makes the right sounds too. If you're going to get the S model with the most amount of torque in the lineup, you want it to sound good. And this car does. It sounds great. And what's really fun is it has several driving modes. Put it into the ADSR mode and it is really docile. The computers work diligently to make sure that you are not getting too much power because it's assuming you're going to be on gravel or snow or rain. It does a really good job. It even gives you a very slow launch should you need it to make sure you're not going to get stuck and just spin your tires. Then the next mode up to Eco, which is great if you're on the highway, want to save a little fuel. Put it into Eco mode and it'll just pound through the gears and give you the best fuel economy that you can. Then if you switch to normal, you get the power that you want, but the steering remains the same. The throttle response remains the same. And then when you go up to dynamic mode, that's when it gets fun. What I love about this is it switches over from having the speedometer in the middle to having the tach in the middle. Now you get to see the tach and it's orange and it's looking aggressive. It adjusts the throttle response, adjusts the weight of the steering. The car really is much more fun to drive. And then on the transmission, you put it into S for sport. So it's gonna go higher into the revs before it changes gears. And it's gonna hold it in the gear longer to give you maximum sportiness. But then, because you've got paddle shifters, you can always just row it your own. Gear down for the corners, then give it a little bit of gas as you come out of these snow-filled corners, and then just get on it and go up through the gears. And just so much stability. All-wheel drive system. I mean, this road is pure snow. Can't see any of the pavement at all. And you just have so much control with this car. So it doesn't matter which mode you're in. It always gives you a real sense of knowing that you're in full control. The S model offers a lot of fun and performance. But the diesel is no slouch. As I said, this car is rated at 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.2 seconds. The diesel is rated at 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.9 seconds. And it does not feel it at all. Because you've got more than 300 pound-feet of torque in the diesel, its acceleration is really strong. I mean, you've got less than 200 horsepower, but you've got more than 300 pound-feet of torque. And the diesel is actually lighter than the V6 Supercharged S model. The diesel gets great fuel economy, much more so than a supercharged V6 as you would anticipate, but the combined not too far off. You're really not sacrificing a lot when you go from the 2-liter diesel to the 3-liter V6 supercharged. Jag has made this car available with lots of different engine options and offers quite a range in terms of MSRP. They're hoping that you are going to be able to find a car and engine combination and price range that's just right for you. And the car is really fun to drive. Jag has come up with a really high performance car that is beautiful fit and finish, great media interface, absolutely no complaints with it. My only gripe is that it's a little slow at turning on. And interestingly enough, the only way you can turn on your seat heater is through this central screen. And so you start up the car and you have to wait for it to go through its thing, and then you have to hit it to say, yes, you agree, you're not going to be distracted, and then finally you get to turn your seat heaters on. Definitely not the end of the world, but it is a little bit slow at firing up. But once it's up and running, thing of beauty. You can hook up your iPhone or Android phone and use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. As far as cruise control is concerned, both cars have cruise control. The diesel that we had the adaptive cruise control, and it was extremely refined. We've driven other adaptive cruise control systems that are much more on the brakes, on the gas, and this one was very refined and did a great job of getting us up and down the highways. You can set the distance that you want from the car in front of you. It really did work well. This car happens to not have the adaptive cruise control, but it does work really well. Not a lot of room in the back seat. I'm 6 feet tall and my seat's fairly far back, but right now no one is sitting behind me. I would have to move my seat up. Again, not a huge problem. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to drive. Beautiful leather seats in both cars. We absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, and no major complaints. Interesting that on this particular car, it has a manual trunk, and on the diesel that we drove, it had a power trunk. Not sure you really need a power trunk on a car like this. Obviously much more useful when you're driving an SUV, but one of the differences between the two. Anyway, we love the XE, especially in S form with its supercharged V6 and 380 horsepower. The car is lots of fun to drive and sounds good, performs well. Huge sunroof, which is really nice. Thanks for tuning in. Drive safely, and we'll see you soon.